So, welcome back, everybody. And Tony Sayers is back, and we are going to talk about dreams. Yeah, Tony, our second attempt, the last attempt, failed miserably due to
Yeah,
bad internet connection.
yeah,
Um, you have to start again.
yeah. And now, just as we start speaking, I've got a screaming, stomping kid running around next door. It's just like,
But I can't hear the kid.
no, no, but I can. But it's like someone presses play, as soon as I go to do something, it's like the Truman Show, everyone comes out of their house, that kind of thing. There's always something, So that's why I have these earplugs. These are swimming earplugs, right? They're not even normal earplugs because it's just beyond a joke now. Like, all of this, it's kind of like noise attacks, really. I would say, but. Yeah, thanks for having me on again, and yeah, hopefully we'll get through it this time. But yeah, dreams. Um, I mean, I think they definitely use dreams as an opportunity to mess with us and interfere with us. That's for sure. But I think also dreams can be very very revealing, and some of the best insights I've had, have been when I've kind of been sort of dreaming or in between that kind of sleep and dream realm. I remember when it was the lockdown. Um, I'll never forget this. It was like I got this kind of insight. It said, Tony, just do what you need to do and get the F out, right? There was like, it was literally that. And I just took that to mean, okay, just keep on speaking your truth and then, get out. But yeah, I've had some really good insights. But yeah, for sure, I think they use sleep, dream time as an opportunity to mess with us and sleep paralysis and things like that. I think they have technology where they can project, nightmares, and they play on your fears and your unconscious wounds. Down the years, one of the things that I don't really like is heights, and there's always dreams about heights and planes and stuff, and that's not obviously coming from me. And then, of course, when you're in that kind of fearful state, when you're sleeping, that's loosh for them. So I think a lot of the bad dreams and nightmares that we have are kind of pre-planned, preordained, and they use them as ways to kind of siphon off our energy. And I was explaining last week before we cut off that recently what they've been doing, I have this inherent, I wouldn't say it's a fear, but concern about going back and doing my matrix job, which was very stressful. I was micromanaged. I don't know if you've ever been in a job where you micromanaged, but it's almost like a form of torture. And they would see how many calls that I'd made in an hour, how many bookings that I've made. Like everything was under scrutiny, and because I was a manager, I had to put that pressure on my staff, which is one of the reasons I hated being a manager because I don't like being told what to do, right? Um, and if you hadn't made a certain amount of appointments by a certain time, you'd get like the area manager on the phone, and then you'd get the CEO. So you were constantly in fight or flight. And this went on for 10 years. And this is why I say I had the insight towards the end that if I carried on, I'd have a heart attack by the time I was 50. And I really believe that. I really believe that I would have. But anyway, my point with this is that recently my dreams, my area manager, my old CEO keep popping up, and I'm back. I'm like they're back putting pressure on me, like making appointments, and I'm waking up stressed, thinking because when you initially wake up, you think it was all real, don't you? You're like, oh my, and you're like, oh thank God, I'm not in for that again. But yeah, so they definitely use like our weak spots and our fears. And I think insert this kind of dream technology and because when you think about it, you're kind of you're basically unconscious for like 8 hours. You're basically knocked out. Which, when you think about it, that's strange in and of itself because you're not in control really, unless you're like a really, really good lucid dreamer. And I don't even think that those people are fully in control for the full 8 hours. So you have to wonder, why is that? That's not a conscious choice that we're making. Yes, the conscious choice is we're choosing to go to sleep, but then there, like from that point, it's like we're everywhere really. So I definitely think there's some good and bad sides to it. I mean, I've worked with some people down the years that have astral traveled and lucid dreaming, and the implanting thing is real, and the interference thing is real because I've got one particular story that stands out to me is I was working with a client, a Norwegian client, and he came to me to do some clearing. And one of his issues was that he'd had a dream. He was very prominent, very good at lucid dreaming. And he had a dream where he was walking in this forest and he came across these dreamlike characters. He said, Tony, they were wearing British military outfits. He said, I remember seeing the
But
badge.
that was in real life or in
No,
the
this was
dream?
in a dream. In a
Ah,
dream. Yeah, British military dream characters. And they stopped him and they said, "You're not supposed to be doing this." And he was like, he was a little bit green behind the ears at the time. And he said, "Well, what do you mean?" And there's like, "Well, you're not supposed to be like lucid like this." And he said, "After we're going to make sure that this is the last time that you're able to do this." And after that dream, he couldn't lucid dream again. This is why he came to me because he believes that they implanted him or something. So that was so interesting to hear that story. We did a bunch of clearing on him, and he was managed to lucid dream again. But they don't. I think what they don't want is they don't want you in control. They don't want you lucid, and they don't want you. Yeah, because when you're out of control, they got kind of carte blanche to do things to you. So I guess in an ideal world, the trick is that everyone became very good at lucid dreaming, but I certainly haven't managed that yet. I don't know if you have tried. Have you tried? Have you had any success?
I had it since childhood, especially what also falls into the category of lucid dreaming is these flying dreams where you are just you're not in an airplane, you're just flying. And also very intense dreams. But recently I had one lucid dream in last month and the month before. I have to overcome my urge, in the first one, I was, these dreams when you want to go somewhere, but for some stupid reason, you walk around in circles and you never reach there. And
Okay.
yeah, and there came a moment in that dream where I said to myself, this dream is stupid. Stop dreaming this.
Hmm.
Just end it. And
Yeah.
then I woke up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that is the point that I have to overcome, meaning when you resist the urge to wake up, to stop that dream, and you start redirecting the
Hmm.
dream. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? That is the point that I have to work on. But other than that, yeah, I have them frequently, not every night. I
Hmm.
also don't think that I don't remember every night. Maybe I should start journaling my dreams again. That's
Yeah.
usually a good place. But interesting is when you do not get enough sleep, then of course you do not go into REM
Hmm.
sleep, you do not dream. And that is, we know that sleep deprivation is also a method of torture.
I'm terrible if I don't get 8 hours. Don't even
Yeah.
talk to
Yeah.
me.
And then after 24 hours, it is very mild, but after 48 to 72 hours, you start hallucinating.
Mhm.
And that can actually look like an acute psychotic breakdown.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I guess we need to dream. We need to produce those images. Otherwise, after a certain point, we start producing them while we are awake. And here is the question that I cannot really answer, and that is, with what eyes do we see actually
Mm.
these images? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when we are sleeping, the eyes are closed, but while we are dreaming, we are seeing it very clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think the whole it what makes me think is that there's more messing going on. It's just the fact that it's almost like we have an immediate memory wipe as soon as we wake up. It's like you have a few seconds. It seems like you have a few seconds, and then all of a sudden it's all gone. And that to me that doesn't seem to be an organic thing. That feels like it's some kind of technology or something that they don't want you remembering any kind of insights that you might have had or anything like that. It happens all the time. But what I've noticed is intention and as you mentioned there, dream journaling seems to prolong that process. So when I'm in the habit of setting my intention before I go to sleep to remember my dreams and all of that kind of stuff. And then I've got my piece of paper and pen. I do notice I am able to retain more of what I've dreamt the night before. But if you're just like laxy daisy with it, then it just goes like that. It just seems to go like that. But I read a really good book by a guy called Robert Wagner. I forget what it's called, but he went the whole distance with the lucid dreaming. He started off with just flying, being in control, flying around, and he said that he started to get bored of that. So then he was interacting with dream characters, and he said that all these dream characters, they're conscious, they're real, right? Because when he first started engaging with them and talking to them, he would be like, "Well, you're not real," and they would get angry with him, and they said, "Well, yeah, we are real," and they would give him like bits of advice, and obviously, I would, from my side of things, urge caution. Just make sure that if you do come across dream characters, they're not like masquerading entities and things like that. Always have discernment. But he was, yeah, talking about all these experiences he had with these dream characters, and then he took it to another level where he was actually organizing to meet his friend who was also lucid dreaming, where they were organizing to meet in the same dreams. So he took this research so far, and so they would meet up in dreams and have different experiences. And then he said that he kind of wanted to get to the bottom of everything. So he set the intention to. Now, I don't know if this is really true or this is how it really did start, but this was his experience. He wanted to get to the start of creation through lucid dreaming. He wanted to find out. And he said that he just went to a sound, and I think the sound was Om, right? We've heard that a lot down the years. But again, I'm not saying that's definitely true, but that's where his experiences took him. He took it. He said, I wanted to go to the start of everything, and that's what he was shown. So there's so much that we can do and learn, I guess. But the actual art of lucid dreaming, it takes a lot of practice and it takes a long time to kind of master it. and I keep meaning to do that and spend more time on it, but I get waylaid by all these other rabbit holes that you go down. But apparently, one of the things that he said is if you set your alarm to go off every hour and just check by looking at your hand and say, okay, I'm in physical reality. Every hour you set your alarm. Then eventually, when you go into sleep, you'll just automatically check your hand, and you're like, okay, I'm in the dream world. And then from there, you realize that you're lucid. And then the trick is from there, which is what he said, and kind of what you alluded to, was don't get like too I'm not I'm in my dream. Don't get too excited, because then you could just go back into your body, or the resistance thing that you spoke about. But it's a really good book. I read it a long time ago. There was some really great insights, from his experiences. The fact that you can just arrange to meet someone else, it was incredible to me. And I think in that kind of conscious state where you're in control, I think that would definitely be a threat to like the Matrix and the forces, and that's why I imagine that experience happened with my client, because he was getting quite far down that road, and they had to put a lid on it. So I think they implanted him, and that kind of thing. So yeah.
What do you make of dream catchers to prevent nightmares? Have you ever tried that?
No, I've never tried a dream catcher. I don't know. When I think of dream catchers, I just think of New Age. I don't know. Like they've all got them, haven't they? All these New Age gurus. There's always a dream catcher in the background. I mean, I've never used one, so I can't say yes or no. To me, I mean, I get a lot of interference in my dreams. I mean, just because of the work that I'm doing. I've had a lot of sleep paralysis down the years, where I've had to fight back, literally fight back. I remember one. I mean, cause I've had so many, but one of the most intense ones that I had was living in Costa Rica at the time, and I my partner at the time, she had to wake me up, but that the this was probably the most disturbing one, was where I felt like I was, and I remember it clear as day. This one, it felt like I was being sucked down an AI tunnel. This tunnel was like metallic, and it was pulling me in, and I had to fight my way out to not be pulled in. I have no idea what that thing was. It was like some kind of portal or something. But every time I've been in like a sleep paralysis situation, I'm always more stronger than whatever it is that's trying to pull me, or grab me, or whatever. But quite often I feel after that's happened, immediately after, I can feel like the implants, and I have to clear myself, the morning after, or straight away if I can't get back to sleep. But I don't know whether it's, maybe because of what the work that I'm doing, maybe I get a little bit more attention and it's a little bit more intense. But I'm actually quite sadistic about it, because I find it so fascinating. And after it's happened, although it's not very nice when it happens, after it's happened, I'm like, wow, did that really happen? And I'm kind of like unpacking it all in my mind. And actually, if they leave me alone for a while, I actually get a bit concerned, because I'm thinking, hang on a minute, am I on the right path with my work? No, honestly I do. I'm like, if something like that doesn't happen for a few months, I'm like, maybe I've gone down the wrong path here. Like they're leaving me alone. Like, what's going on here? So yeah, it's definitely a battle scenario. But like I say, my experiences might be a little bit more extreme, because of I'm publicly talking about like a lot of things that they don't want you to talk about, and that's the case for a lot of people that may be a little bit more in the public, especially people that are talking about metaphysical things. But I see it as like a backhanded compliment. So yeah, I don't think a dream catcher would work for me personally. But yeah, I wouldn't say yes or no for definite because I've never used one. So
Mm,
have
mm.
you used one?
No,
No.
no. But when they leave you alone, I wouldn't base my conclusion if I'm on the right way or the wrong path on interferences.
Yeah.
I simply wouldn't do that. I have over the years experienced sleep paralysis as well. Did you when you had that, did you have the impression there are some type of entities in your room?
Yeah, I mean that's what I believe sleep paralysis is. I believe that it's these are entities that are basically, I mean, when it happens to me and from other people I've spoken about, it's almost like your mouth is sewn up, right? Um,
You
you
can't
can't
move
really,
at all.
sorry?
You can't move at all.
Yeah, you can't move. You can't move. It's like someone's pinning you down, and I've seen images and people, clients have spoke to me about how, they felt they were pinned down and all of this stuff. But yeah, so it's almost like I believe sometimes they're doing different things. Sometimes it's just to scare you. Sometimes definitely I've been implanted because I can feel them. I can feel like the heaviness on my in my stomach or in my head. Um, and I don't know what the portal thing was. That was that I don't know. I still to this day don't know what that was, but that one sticks out in my mind. And quite often leading up to a lot of my dreams, I'm either in warfare or I'm running from something or I'm in some kind of battle. And quite often when these from the memories I do have when these sleep paralysis instances happen in my dream, I might be kind of like in a dark room or hiding somewhere or watching something. So the environment around me can be, yeah, kind of bit like a war zone. So I think many of us are fighting battles in different dimensions, in different realms, and it's not just me. I've had so many people down the years tell me the same thing that they're in all these different war zones and fighting different things. And I mean it's spiritual warfare what we're involved in, so it would make sense if you see it, which I do, that the astral is the prison yard and this is the prison. And when we go into dream time, we pretty much go into the astral, so it makes sense that we'd probably be having a few battles there as well. um, so so yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So quite often during the day we're being attacked with all the poisons and all, and then you go asleep and then you're being attacked all that, and so it's going on both in both dimensions. And yeah, so that's the way I see it. But I do think if we're what they don't want, from what I can see, is they don't want you fully in control, driving your car, let's say, and they want control of your dreams, and that's what it feels like to me.
Mm. Yeah, every time I had a sleep paralysis, I didn't notice any entities. I'm not saying there weren't any. I simply didn't notice anything. I never had the experience of fear.
No.
The overwhelming experience was I'm annoyed.
Yeah, same, same.
And
Yeah,
usually at that point, uh, then I said to myself, okay, just go back to sleep and that's it. And then I woke up later on and everything was fine. Yeah.
yeah, that's the same as me. I feel like I I'm like, I've been coerced. You're touching me, and astrally, whatever. You're imposing your energy on my energy field without my consent. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's just like the physical realm. I mean, you have no choice but to fight back. There's a struggle, and then eventually you release yourself, unless someone that can hear you, which has been on occasions with me, and like, hang on, what's wrong? Wake up, wake up. And then I'm like, oh, something was attacking me, and yeah, it's more of a case of anger and like F you, right? So I'm going to go doubly hard today with whatever I was going to talk about, and yeah, there's that kind of like yeah, that's that side of it, isn't there? Where the defiancy, how dare you? How dare you? Like, I was just having a peaceful sleep, and you're going to come in and try and suck me through a mechanical tunnel? Like, just piss off with that. But I mean, obviously, it is scary for a lot of people, especially like if it happens for the first time. But I would just say that we're always more powerful than what they're trying to do. That they want us to think that they're the powerful ones. And in that dimension, a lot of astral travelers will talk about, and lucid dreamers will talk about their telekinesis abilities, which you're able to manifest instantly. There was one astral traveler who he visited this like Earth-like realm where this is where I think people really go when they die. It's kind of like the waiting Earth realm before you come back
Waiting
down.
room.
Yeah, it's like have you seen the film Defending Your Life?
No,
You got to watch it, Judith. Like honestly, there's so much information in there. You've seen Beetlejuice?
no.
Okay, all right. You need to watch that as well. You got some homework to do. So basically, both of those films talk about when people die, they are going to you go to a processing center, right? Which is like imagine you need a new passport, right? So you go to the processing center, yeah. So it's the same kind of thing going on in the astral. And so once you've been to the processing center, you then go to this Earth-like realm where there are jobs, money, people eat
Oh,
food.
that's a little bit like The Good Place, the TV series.
I've not seen that, so but
Hmm.
yeah, maybe because they put all of this in films and TV series, so, as we know. But the people there, they still believe in 5D ascension, and they still think that there's going to be this ascension process. Um, and so there's all the indoctrination, and because they're so used to earthly things, they have that in the astral as well. And he said that when he visited this earthly realm, he was trying to educate the people there and tell them you don't need to work to. I mean, you don't need food anyway, right? You're in your astral, but they still think that they do. They're still programmed. This is how bad it is, right? So he's trying to explain to them that you can manifest instantly food, and you can manifest instantly money just with your intention. And so he was trying to explain to a few of these brainwashed souls that were still brainwashed, having come from Earth. And then he said that he got caught. He said they were like these astral police, and they come with they have these nets, these like soul nets. Yeah. And and one of them came at him with a baton, and he said that he used his telekinesis abilities to make the baton turn back on the policeman, and the policeman was hitting himself with the baton, right? And he said the people there, he said they don't know that they have these telekinesis abilities, and they're actually banned from talking about it, right? So there's lockdown on what you can talk about, just as like there's lockdown on here on what you can talk about. And he said there's like millions of these souls in this astral city not knowing what their true abilities are and still under the illusion that they need all of this earthly stuff. And And so, yeah, my point was is that we have all these telekinesis abilities in that dimension. So not only if you're dreaming, but when you pass over, hopefully you don't get stuck in the astral for too long. But if you come across anything that's negative, don't forget you're a badass, right? That's the bit that they don't want you to. And I know people don't like the idea of like violence and all of that stuff, but there comes a point where you might have to defend yourself. Just like you may have to defend yourself in this realm, if someone comes at you, tries to mug you or what have you, like most of us are not just gonna, unless he's got a gun or something, we're gonna put up a bit of a fight. And so it's good to know, and it's good to remind ourselves of our own power, not just in this dimension, but in that dimension as well. So I would say anything that they can do, we can tenfold do it back. And he was just describing that, these goons that they have working there, they're just like ants, when you know what your true abilities are. But it's really sad that we have all these souls that are, you know, are, are enslaved in that side of the fence, not knowing their true abilities. And this is where it's going off a little bit off topic a bit, but this is where the normal NDEs that we see on Netflix and all of this stuff, and the big YouTube channels, they're being shown these false experiences with these false heavenly realms and stuff. That's not where you really go. You're going to be going to that if you go through the tunnel of light. You're probably going to end up in this processing center, and then in this astral version of Earth until your time comes to reincarnate into a physical body again. So it's very important to define the two death experiences, the fake love and light new age NDEs where everything's great. Your dead nan's going to be there, Archangel Michael's going to be there, Jesus is going to be there, whoever you really loved in your life is going to be there. It's all going to be wonderful. Um, and then you've got this other more dark and I would say more realistic version of what really happens. Um, But it's all in the films. If you watch Defending Your Life, everything I've said, you'll be like, oh, right, yeah. This
Okay,
whole
I will
pro,
watch that.
yeah, this whole, oh my God, there's so much noise here right now.
I don't hear it. So we also have important inventions that came to people in a dream. Three examples are the theory of relativity, the
Hmm.
sewing machine, and the periodic table.
Okay.
All there are more. These are just three examples. Um, so it appears to me, as you said, it can work both ways. That it's an energy harvesting tool, but sometimes there can come something through that is really, really useful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, some of the things you mentioned, I mean, the periodic table, they left out the eth, they left out the ether, right? So I mean, whether or not that was initially a good thing, maybe, I don't know, but yeah, I'm sure we can access information. I mean, I'm sure there's ways that we could do that while we're in a physical body if we really tuned into our self energy and our insights and a lot of those have probably been blocked and overlaid and implanted and things like that. So we don't, we're kind of handicapped a little bit, but yeah, I'm sure that's possible as well. I think, I mean, where do people get? Because it's all one of the same, really. Because when you have a musician or you have someone writing a poem, they're really tuning in with the parts, their multidimensional part of their self, where they're pulling that kind of music or poetry out of the ether, right? So it's all kind of one of the same, I think, because we are the creative beings. And so we have access to creation, and that they don't. I strongly believe that. So it wouldn't surprise me if we've had some inventions come from there. And but have you heard of Donald Marshall?
I heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, well, he was. I mean, I don't know how true this is, but he was talking about that they have these cloning centers in the
Mm,
astral, where, yeah, where they have cloned versions of people, and they all beat each. There's like a stadium, and they watch, and they all beat each other up, and it's all kind of weird and satanic. And but this guy, I mean, what he talks about there, it really resonates with me. I actually believe that that's something that they would do. But he was talking about that he was writing songs for Nirvana, like Kurt Cobain wasn't even writing the songs; it was actually him. He was doing it in this kind of like astral realm. So yeah, who knows what can be done there? I'm sure all of those things are true because they wouldn't try and interfere with dreams so much as they do.
mm. So in psychology, the phenomena of sleep paralysis is known as well, of course. They usually explain it that you come out of a REM stage too fast.
Mm. Yeah, this is the dump in the punch bowl. This is the rug pull. There's a couple of prominent, very big people that blew up very quickly that are in the kind of astral travel, soul trap community. I think Darius is one of Darius. I forget his name.
Yeah,
And
with the J, yeah, there.
Darius, right, yeah. So these people are trying to explain something very dark as something positive, right? They're trying to tell you that, oh, it's not sleep paralysis, it's you just about to astral travel. You're just about to leave your body, which in no way is it that. I've I've got so many experiences to say it's not that. When I'm being sucked down an AI tunnel, that is not me leaving my astral. It's just not. And so it's like what they always do. They want to try and sprinkle a piece of poo to make it look good, right? It's really not that at all. And this kid is absolutely. It's like a absolutely. He's been let loose. It's like someone's someone's giving him like a bottle of 2 liter bottle of Coke. So he's hyper, and he's running around banging and crashing.
Yeah, there was a time when he was on so many channels, and in the end, his message always was, "It's all good. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it." And that is where I differ.
yeah, absolutely. And I think I did a review of one of his videos, and straight off the bat, I think I'm looking at a monarch butterfly. The symbology. It's like I literally press play on the video, and straight away there's a monarch butterfly. And yeah, and he's dealing with guides and things like that. And there's a lot. I can't remember everything that I spoke about in the breakdown of him, but he's actually got a very strong cult following. He's a good looking dude, like credit where it's due. So I had all these women, groupies in my comments defending him, like, oh, well, you're just jealous, and Darius is great, and I'm like, this is another cult, right? Like you got all these like little cults going on within the alternative media, and his is another one. And yeah, you're absolutely right. He's like, oh, it's all good, don't worry, sleep paralysis, just you leaving your body, nothing to worry about there. So yeah,
But that is something I had an interview last night with Gary Wayne. We talked about the development from Templarism to Freemasonry, yeah. And before we started recording, No, at the beginning, we talked a little bit about, I don't know if you have noticed this year, there was an incredible hype about being raptured. Yeah.
Yes,
And
yeah,
they dished out three dates that all flopped, of course. And and even Gary, I mean, he is really well studied, yeah, biblically. And he told me that he was blocked from a Facebook group because he said, do not fall for this nonsense. Yeah.
yeah,
That, and I mean, this year it was so bizarre. People quitting their jobs, selling their cars, their houses. One woman gave away her children to the child protective services, and on it goes. And you're sitting there in front of your laptop and you're thinking, what's going on? They are all going crazy.
yeah,
And then to be fair, there were a lot of Christians also who said, guys, no, do not listen to that nonsense. It is not going to pass. And so now all these three dates flopped. Gary was accused of being a heretic, yeah, and that he is people, notching people away from the faith and what have you. But he said nobody comes back and says, yeah, well, sorry, I guess
yeah, yeah,
it was a little
yeah,
bit harsh with you. No,
yeah,
no, no, no. People right now are so clinging to their own delusions.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, actually, I made a video for my YouTube channel just on that yesterday. It's published on Saturday, but the savior programs right now are so deep in people, like they just can't. I mean, it's kind of a mental retardation at this point, really, and yeah, it's just they see things getting really bad out there, so they're just desperately looking for someone or something. And this is our Achilles heel, it's just it really is. Like if we all woke up tomorrow and realized we're our own savior, we need to sort this out. We need to make better decisions. We need to take responsibility. Like the world would literally change. But no, people, I mean, the whole QAnon thing's making a huge comeback now. I mean, I thought that thing was dead in the ground.
I didn't hear that acoustically. What is making a comeback?
The whole QAnon thing is making
Oh,
a comeback. I thought that thing was dead in the ground, and now all these big influencers are now rug pulling, and they've been talking truth. Now they're directing people into QAnon and Trump again, and it's just delusional. It really is. I mean, this is where we're at as a species. The cream of the crop, the independent thinkers, let's call them that, we're supposedly are all being funneled into these savior programs, or they're being funneled back into appealing to authority, appealing to government, writing to politicians. David Icke shocked me recently because he's encouraging people to sign a petition when the largest petition ever, with over 3 million signatures, was just laughed at. But now he's sharing more petitions. I'm like, what? Where are we being led with that? That's not sovereignty. Um, so I'm seeing this a lot at the moment. People are leading other people back into these savior programs. If it's not QAnon and Trump, it's politicians. If it's not that, it's a lot of the New Agers are now, because that's not working, they're going back into Christianity and trying to get people back into Christianity and Jesus and all this stuff. Like there's just so many of these savior programs people gravitate to just to make themselves feel good, and I mean it's dangerous. It's as we know. So
yeah. Um, and I when the dates flopped one after another, when the first one flopped, it was about that actually Jesus didn't know that we use a Gregorian calendar. And I mean, that is, if you are a true believer, yeah,
Yeah.
and you believe this is the Son of God, and it depends on him if I'm being saved or not. And then, do you hear yourself? Jesus didn't know.
But isn't he the Son of God? Isn't God omnipotent? Omnipotent? Doesn't he know everything?
And others, then oh yeah, the second date flopped as well. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm probably going to see what the Muslims deal is. I'm checking that out now. And do you even have a basis for what you believe? Obviously, no. Some lunatic comes along, dishes out one false date after another,
Yeah.
and your best recommendation is to check out Islam.
I mean, like you say, it's pure desperation. It really is. But the thing is, the real dangerous thing in it, Judith, is because if people don't grow out of this while they're alive, they're gonna get hooked in when they're dead. If there's gonna be a guide, there's gonna be an angel, there's gonna be a quote unquote savior when they pass over. Because these entities that they know all your weak spot. and and yeah, so and then at that point, then they'll have you in for your life review, and then all of a sudden you're back here again. So it's so important people grow out of that now while they're alive now and do that. Take the slap round the face now. Okay, all right. I realise no one's coming to save me. Take that now and just deal with it rather than that take that on into the afterlife. That need for a savior. Um, So yeah, it's really dangerous. And I spoke on my video yesterday, just continuing the Savior programs thing, the programming from childhood with all the Superman, He-Man, Batman, Super Ted, like
Captain America.
yeah, absolutely. So it's Savior after Savior after Savior. So you can see where they don't want you. They don't want you in your sovereignty.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is only going to get worse.
Yeah.
It's a type of behavior, and that is why I'm not surprised that my channel isn't really growing.
Yeah, you and me both. Yeah, I've been shadow banned since I started, and I'm
Yeah.
sure you have as well. And this is the other thing with it. A lot of these big truther channels just came back live. Did you see this? Right,
Uh-huh.
completely unshadow banned. Right, David Icke Scout. His last video on Epstein, which I think is a huge distraction, is 98,000 views. 98,000 views last time I checked. And I'm like, is that really someone who's a threat to the system? Like, why would they allow that these big channels completely uncensored all at the same time to come back on? I think what's going on there is that a lot of people are waking up again, more and more people, and they need to be funneled back into savior programs. Oh my God, this kid.
The kid is having a bad day.
No,
Yeah.
it's like where is the parent? It's just shouting and shouting and shouting, just and oh dear.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and 2026 will be, did you see what YouTube is changing for 2026?
What's that?
YouTube now expects from creators more or less a studio-like movie production.
What?
Mhm.
Well, that's me out then.
Yeah. Yeah, meaning you should put at least two-thirds of your time into research and preparation, and then sound effects and visual effects, yada,
Right,
yada, yada. So, because more and more people are watching YouTube on their television.
right, okay. I didn't hear about that.
hmm I stumbled on it by accident, so to speak. And yeah, I'm not going to make a big movie production here. Yeah.
No,
Mm-mm. No.
me too.
Yeah, it means we will probably be still here, but don't be surprised if your views drop even more because the algo will only push these so-called movie-like productions.
Yeah, and what's their idea of research? Like how much of the BBC you've listened to and regurgitated? I bet that would push the algorithm up.
Yeah, I guess what they mean is how much research you have done to make it attractive, that people stay with it, that it has a lot of twists and turns and all the visual effects and what have you. I think that is what they mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's going more into the direction of entertainment
Right.
instead of what it started out as broadcast yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, we saw all this. I'm surprised they're not going to be. Well, soon they're going to be asking for digital ID, aren't they, to get on? I'm pretty sure that's going to be happening soon. So, yeah, I guess there'll be a time when I don't know where we're all going to go. I'm sure we'll find somewhere, though. I mean, people are hungry for truth. Like there are a lot of people. So I don't know. I'm on Rumble and BitChute and Odyssey. I get a decent amount of views, but it's still YouTube is where I get most views. But I think maybe people will just gravitate more to those platforms. But then, of course, you're just preaching to the converted, aren't you? You're not really reaching, new minds, which is what we want. But yeah, we kind of saw all this happening for
Yeah.
your safety.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave up on BitChute. It's completely not my audience.
No,
I deleted my channel there. I'm just on Odyssey and on YouTube, but for now, I will leave it at that, and then come 2026, we will see how it goes. And yeah, if it dies down to, let's say, 100 views every video, maybe I shut down my channel completely.
yeah,
I just do it on Patreon, and
yeah, that might be an idea.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then that's it.
yeah,
Because I have a lot more leeway on
okay,
on Patreon than I have on YouTube. And so, yeah, we will see.
yeah. We'll find a way.
Yeah, we will find a way. Yeah, Tony, that was, do you have any ideas, something that you would like to leave us with?
Um,
Whoops.
Not really. Just get out of the savior programs. If you've got any kind of inclination to any kind of savior, please reconsider. This is about sovereignty, and it's not just about working out that there's a few people that want to kill us all. It's about rediscovering who we are and walking that sovereign path, because that's the frequency that I believe this is a frequency war, and I think that sovereign, they do so much to keep us out of that it's clear that that's where we need to be headed. Um, but yeah, other than that, just try and laugh at the place while you can. The same thing really. But no, thanks for having me on, and yeah, great to speak to you again, Judy.
Yeah, okay. So, guys, that was it. Night flight for today, and we will see you on the next one.